them even more.
Yeah, well, let me bring Anderson Cooper in. Anderson, you were listening together with all of us, all of our viewers around the world. We were told he was going to say, you know what, I'm stepping down. He did not say that. He didn't even seem to come close other than saying he was going to give some new powers to the vice president, Omar Suleiman. Is that what you heard as well, Anderson?
What we heard were the same lies that we've heard from him and his regime for more than 2 weeks now. What we heard is a man who clearly believes that he is Egypt. I was taking notes during what he said. He kept repeating this lie that this is all some sort of foreign interference, that these protesters are somehow, and that's something we've heard on state television, that they're being paid, that they're being motivated to go there. They're being paid $100 or 100 euros, depending on what report you hear. He talked about that they will not accept to listen to any foreign interventions and dictations, trying to play up on Egyptian national pride, saying that they're resisting the United States and others from who want to dictate to Egypt what they want. Again, these are lies of a regime who's trying to stay in power. He says it's not about me, Hosni Mubarak. It's about the people of people of Egypt. What you are looking at are the people of Egypt. It is all about Hosni Mubarak, and he believes it is all about him. He believes he is Egypt. He continues to talk about getting out of a crisis. He believes what you are seeing is a crisis. That is not the crisis. The crisis is what his government has done to try to attack those peaceful demonstrators, shutting down the banks, shutting down the internet service, shutting down the trains, attacking them first with billy clubs and sticks from his riot policemen, and then when that didn't work, switching to thugs, pro-government thugs. He keeps talking about, playing up that we are not servants to anyone. We will not take dictation. I've never succumbed to international pressure, he said. He said, I live for this homeland. I will not leave. We will always be dignified. And he went on to repeat these lies about that a national dialogue, that he's undertaken a national dialogue, and that they have now committees working on how to amend the Constitution. This is a Constitution which has allowed emergency powers to stay in place for 30 years. These protesters are saying the Constitution is not valid. The Constitution is a Constitution which has allowed a dictatorship to reign unchecked. It's not about making a few amendments here and there. It's about fundamentally rewriting the Constitution. It's about fundamentally changing the regime. He talks about that they've appointed committees to look at constitutional changes and another committee to look at how to implement those constitutional changes. Well, we know who's on those committees. Those are judicial figures and dignitaries aligned with the Mubarak regime. These are cronies of Hosni Mubarak. These are not people. This is not a broad cross-section. One of the things the Obama administration is continuing to push for is a greater representation in the people that they are talking to. They haven't talked to Mohammed al-Baradei. They haven't talked to a number of the young people who are really behind these demonstrations. They've talked to a few people, but they really haven't reached out to try to get a broad cross-section of people, the kind of broad cross-section of people that will be necessary in order to actually get real democratic institutions. The reason those people are mad, and it maybe sounds like they're waving flags and it sounds like they're cheering, they are furious. I mean, this is a slap in the face. This is stepping on the grave, on the blood of the Egyptian people that has been spilled for more than 2 weeks now in that square that we're looking at, Wolf.
Anderson, we've gone back now to the translation, the Arabic translation. Our experts, our Arabic speakers, and when he said he was going to transfer some powers, it was precise. He didn't say he was transferring powers to the vice president. He was transferring, quote, some of the powers to the vice president, suggesting he's staying in power. He's not transferring all power to the vice president. He's saying he's transferring some of the powers. So he's clearly sees himself, Anderson, as you correctly point out, as the president of Egypt. He's not going anywhere. He's staying where he is. And as we anticipated, this crowd, the thousands, the hundreds of thousands who have gathered at Tahrir Square, they're exploding in anger right now. We should not be surprised, especially because they were tasting Mubarak going down. They thought for the last 5 or 6 hours he was leaving. He is not leaving. He's creating committees. He's transferring some of the powers to his vice president, his handpicked vice president, Omar Suleiman, but he did not utter the words that he's leaving. He's stepping down. He sees himself as the president of Egypt. He's staying in power. right now.
Also, Wolf,
yeah, go ahead, Anderson.
Wolf, he continues to paint himself as the bulwark of stability. What he has done for 30 years and what he continues to do now is try to make it a choice of two options, either Mubarak or chaos. He continually, in this speech tonight, said the change we have started will not be retracted. We're going through difficult times. We cannot do anything to damage our economy. He continually talked about getting out of the crisis and restoring the economy, have safety for people so they can get on with their lives. What has damaged the economy, though, is the Mubarak regime's attempt to isolate and kill these protesters. I mean, it is the Mubarak regime, again, who shut down the internet, who shut down the train service, who have closed the banks. Those things didn't have to happen. They were trying to manipulate and create a crisis so that Egyptians who were on the fence, who weren't in the square, would say, oh my gosh, the only choice is between Mubarak and stability or these protesters in the square who are causing all this chaos. Again, the chaos has been caused by the Mubarak regime. These are lies which this regime continues to try to sell, not only to the people of Egypt, but to the world.
And it was only a few moments ago before